People have told me about miracles. So many people. Well, we wish you a miraculous cure, right? You know, you're going to have a miraculous cure. Some say I have to believe I have the miraculous cure if I get it. Some people don't, but you know, they're wishing me and blessing me with a miraculous cure, whatever that means. I don't believe in miracle cures. And I was inundated, as you might imagine, as anybody who's been in my position, has been inundated with miracle cures. You know, I'm not even going to go through the list. Thank God I had an angel who came back into my life recently, a few months ago, who was able to guide me through the miracle cures, and be able so I could with due respect honor the people who were presenting them to me, and say, you know, I've researched this, and I thank you for it. But it's a lot of bullshit. No, I didn't say that. I did with respect and honor, but at least I knew how to see my way through that maze. And if you want an advertisement, I can give you one. Okay, Dawn Lamont. She's a private person, but years ago when she was getting out of oncology, I had suggested to her that she might do a really, and this is way before my cancer, way before she served me in this way, that the big deal is for us, if anybody goes through this, is somebody to hold your hand through this incredible web of information and inundation that can seize you up and cause you anguish from philosophical, spiritual. They could tie you into the most horrible knots, and some people can make you think you're a disservice to yourself because you're not doing that. You're causing your own cancer, you're causing your own this. And to have somebody be able to research and do that work, I said to her, there are people out there who really could be guided through this whole maze. And now, amazingly, Dawn has been doing this for me. That's one of the miracles. She came back to town. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But she's here in town suddenly, and she was on top of my life and loving me when she was back east before she came back. And then it was a miracle that she came back because she had the grandest job in the world. It turned out to be not the grandest job in the world. But at the moment, it was, you know, pretty prestigious job at Sloan Kettering, you know, doing research in cancer and exercise and diet. Wow, nutrition, the whole deal, and everything else. So she is now in business.
Oh, you made a real ad.
Yeah, kiddo. Your business is called No Stone Unturned.
Yeah.
And she's going to be helping people through whatever. I trust her with my life. She's guided me through all this. Wow. I didn't mean to do that ad, kiddo, but I wanted to get to the miracle cures thing, and it segues well. What I have experienced, okay, are absolute miracles. And I'll stop now if you already agree or think all the time that every breath is a miracle. Then you've gotten it, okay? Then this part of the stuff is just going to be preaching to the choir. Or shtick to the shticklers. I don't know. Hey, it's going to get worse before it gets better. There's alcohol back there that didn't survive Purim. Stick to the stuck. That's it. Stick to the stuck. The ones I believe are the ones I'm experiencing. The ones that have been daily in my life. Not just after the cancer. I was aware of them before. My life was grand. I'd be almost saying almost every day, almost every experience, boy, this is the best. Didn't Reb Shlomo do that? Didn't he say, you're my best friend. Isn't this the best time I've ever had right now? And he said, but you said that to me last. You said, he's your best friend. Yes, he's your best friend. This is my best time. Didn't he do that? Well, he got it. He got it. He got it. And maybe through Reb RBA, I channeled that. But I got that. And so that was how my life was and continued being after the diagnosis. Who could have imagined that, right, Stan? Who could imagine? I would never imagine that there would be a seamless transition to that knowledge, and no lack of joy. Shocking the shit out of people, frankly. who I would tell, and they'd be, oh my God, you're going to die. I said, yeah. Wow, but what a life. You're here now, you're holding me. You're looking at me. I'm breathing the air you're breathing right now. How could life not be better, fuller, richer? How could there be more than that? How can this not be the only miracle? Which means every moment is a miracle. Every moment.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. So I tell you some examples that I can quote to you. The miracles, this being one of them, how could it not be? My God. I'm getting to have an audience. I've wanted to do shtick and stand up and sit down and play music in front of people and realize what I was a theater major, you know, and I was so nervous. I told you about the knees knocking. That was true. In the Orient Express in Kalispell, Montana, a bar of these two, actually the old New York City trains that were turned into a bar. And it was horrible. I had great material, but I couldn't hear myself. So people returned in my life who had not been here. Two of my best friends. I don't have a lot of best friends. You're all my lovers. I don't have a lot of, best friends where you can be, really grimy and grody and yourself and be as smelly as you want in every sense of that word and not be afraid of being judged. Well, two of my best friends flew the coop. Akiva flew to get Dossie, and he took too damn long to get back. But when he got back, it was in time. He was in time not only to transition me. You think this is? You think death is funny? Relationships. That's funny. He helped me through a transition thanks to him. There was a woman in my life, and believe it or not, she called him my second wife. And she wouldn't let him in the house more than once a month. And if he hadn't been around, I might not have known to get out of this, my God, dysfunctional relationship. Oh, God, that was Mitzrayim. That was Mitzrayim. The path to this transition, that is walking to the light. And Akiva came back in my life. Miracle. Dawn is back just when I needed her. She was on the phone. She was working for me. She got me the oncologist, her former partner. She made those phone calls. She was on top of things in there. And she's my true love. I mean, we're sister, brother. I mean, wow. And I tried to match the skin color in Mexico. I did. Different color. Yeah, I got closer. It's honor of you, dear. But why I peeled, I don't understand. And then Stephanie, you have a relationship with somebody and you live with them and you have a graduate level course in relationship, and a graduate course in life is a graduate course in relationship. You can't get there from here. You want to be realized. You want to get close. You want to get to muscles. You want to really. You need to have a relationship, and you need to have somebody who's tough. You need to have somebody who's meshing wounds, as our therapist told us, and you need to be able to work on that. And unfortunately, she was only my master's. I still had that one after, which was a graduate level course on relationships. And that took me to the postgraduate level. I'm telling you, man, I did my dissertation. Some people don't finish their dissertations. I finished my dissertation. But thank you, Stephanie. She is my angel. We couldn't be lovers, couldn't work. We sure as hell, unfortunately, for that graduate level course, weren't able, because if Akiva couldn't even be my second wife, I certainly couldn't have a third one as a good friend. So for the last year, thank God, I've been able to, and she's been with me, wow, So it might not be a time for applause, but we can throw some in right now. I think so too. Exactly. And then, probably the most unexpected thing to happen is that I had a relationship. I had a sexual relationship after diagnosis of terminal cancer. I had a woman who said she was going to go all the way with me. Oh, I thought she was going to go all the way to my death with me. I guess I misread that. Never mind, but it really cheered me up at the time. But that was a miracle too, that I had in the middle of this, in the middle of all this, I had a romance. I was able to focus on loving and being a lover. It didn't have to last. The reality check had to come. Relationships, like I said, they're a whole lot funnier than dying, had to end. But what a thing, what a miracle. That is a miracle, was a miracle. And there was a time in bed that I realized how this had changed for me, because I said to her, I looked her deep in her brown eyes, and I said, you know, I want to grow old with you. And then she looked at me and nodded, and I said, oh, yeah, right. I just want to grow old with anybody. I got to tell you something. Marketing yourself on OkCupid as a terminal patient does not work. People send you a lot of admiration, but going up front with that and saying, hey, be with a guy who will love you like you were the last. Hey, never lost it. I would love not to have to give away that Cialis, by the way, if anybody. Never mind. You can have it. And the other thing that happened was new best friends. You know, I knew when this was happening that the people around me would have to be people, and I could tolerate nothing less than people who would look at me and seeing a man who's alive, seeing life, not seeing death, or me seeing in their eyes a reflection of their fear and their difficulty coping with the idea and concept of death. So I guess it's not surprising that the miracles kept on coming. Miracles of people I already know. Love you, Stan. Unexpected places. Amazing, amazing. In every which way, in every which form. And it did go for a good cause, Stan. It did. Everything has. Every bit of love I've been showered. Every gift I've been given, I've tried to pass on. But I have new friends, and I kind of have a habit of befriending lovely rabbis. One, I love Torah, I love Yiddishkeit, and how can I not love Joshua? And saw him, like I saw Rabbi Aryeh for the first time, and I will tell you that story. I see him sitting squat on the floor on a blanket, doing Ufro Soleno, his first tune, which we'll hear soon, and I fell in love within instants. First thing I said when I gave him a hug, he says, I want to know you. I want you, baby. I want you. I do want you. I love you already. Can we talk? And we went for a walk the next day, literally hip-deep snow around the lake. And I never was with him ever without seeing eagles and hawks. Never, ever. Oh, in the kitchen, sometimes not. But most of the time outside, we'd see the hawks and the birds. And then Reb Joshua, when I saw him, and it was love at first sight as well. What a gift we all have, that this lovely angel moves with his family here to augment and add to what is probably the richest community of rabbis I've ever I cannot imagine. And we have rabbis in training. We have people who are, not just because of Zashland, are the highest spiritual planes that I can imagine. You know, even the ones who aren't in Mount Shasta. And Barbara Fox, you know, who knew I'd have another best friend? Where's Barbara? Yeah, who knew I'd have more than best friends, you know? Suddenly being as deep and going as deep as I can imagine, and not having to explain. Just knowing that, wow, this is the journey. And this is all cool, and they got it. That this is life. And there's another guy who I could have sworn was Jewish, you know? I met after a Shabbat Shira at the temple. And that's Peter over here, Peter Spring, who I had as Peter Springer in my book for years. I really liked him right then. I said, wow, I really wanted to get together. And he was taking care of his mom. And he's done some amazing things in his life. Check out the website is what? www?
StephenSpring.org.
StephenSpring.org if you want to know the story about this creature that I don't tell you today. And you'll get quite a bit. That's the latest of the angels, and I'm not gone yet, so, you know, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, today, in a minute. Hi. I do see the light. It's really cool, guys. Can you give me more of that Haldol? It's really good. And there's a bag of vapor in the car, which I'll partake of more later. Thank God for pot. Talk about an angel. Talk about a vaporous angel. No, seriously, to not just be able to conquer nausea, but but even with my joyous life, to refocus and tool me back to center being, wow, baby. So, Peter Spring, I always wanted to befriend him and hadn't. I'm not quite sure how it quite happened in the last few months, but I invited for your music jam. Maybe I invited you to play music at my house because maybe a lot of you have been there, but my house has been open for home Shabboses and music jams, and I haven't been always the best or adequate or tolerable flute player, but have been at times and love more than anything playing. I say that to give myself some leeway for later. But Peter not only has a good ear, he has good tolerance. And he joined us, and then that coincided with the accident of the pool table. It was an accident because I had just started playing ping pong on Tuesday nights with Alan Kenner with a group. And it was so cool, and I wanted to put a ping pong table in there. I ordered one from Sears. See how mysteriously the ways God works. I ordered one, the cheap one from I could maybe fit it in. We couldn't. With Alan's arms and legs, he would have crashed through the window. It never would have worked anyway. But I wanted to get it, and so I'd be able to have that, practice alone with the ping pong table and stuff. So I ordered from Sears, went there to pick it up, couldn't fit it in my car. I said, you deliver it now? They said, well, you have to go over there and fill out a form. I said, I'll fill out a form. And I said, ooh, there are pool tables. Now in Montana, damn, this thing keeps on going back. Can you pin anybody? No, I'm just kidding. I had a pool table in Montana. It was central. It was the family hearth. It wasn't we didn't eat together. We played pool together. Me and my two boys and my wife and family and friends for hours and hours and hours. And when we do Torah around the table. That's the rabbi's table, the rabbi's tish, huh? Yeah, a 6-pocket tish. And so we lived with that. And so I said, okay, how about a pool table? Well, Sears didn't work out. They said setup and delivery didn't mean setup and delivery when they brought it over. It meant we bring it in the garage and leave it in a box. For $500 more, we'll set it up. And it was a crappy table. So I went online and said, fuck this. I'm buying a good table. And I went on pooltable.com, and got a beautiful table. Happened to mention that to Peter at one of the music jams, and Peter said, "Hey, for $15, I got a $150 graphite cue that I love to play. Can I bring it to your house when that pool table goes up? Can I leave it there? Can I play?" He used to have access to a table every day, he didn't, and so he was going to do that, and I knew he was really my new lover, my new angel when he brought his guitar over, because I always leave a guitar, he said, at my friends' houses, so I always have one stashed there so I can play. And Peter, you'll hear later, if he decides to play my flute or play another flute here, he brought his own, I think. That's his expertise. He's a master musician, as you all may know, and a master teacher, and whatever else he's a master of. So I want to give you a sense for what my life's been like, and how you'll understand that night after night, day after day, I mean it when I say, this is the best day of my life. I can't imagine being happier. I can't imagine having more joy. I can't imagine having more joy than this very moment right now, as long as you guys are still with me. You guys are still with me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Reb Sue warned me she would go like this, or let me know. I'm getting close. Hey, everybody, you gotta have gavura. You gotta have the hot air. You gotta have the hot air, but you gotta have the rubber container. We're coming to an end. We are. I'm about to land right now. It's perfect. So here's an evening with Peter. Peter and my cats, my little orange kitties, Menashe and Ephraim, Menashe being smaller, more my baby, and Ephraim being more of a teenager, kitten. They will be Peter's kittens, and they have a godmother in Stephanie, and a godfather, godfather, yes, in Akiva, and anybody else who wants to share in them. Hold it. I'm hearing angels. Harps. Somebody could even shut off my cell phone. Perfect timing. I'm talking about angels. So I'll tell you something what happens. At 6:30 p.m., Peter will arrive at my house between 6:30 and 6:40 after he's put his 99-year-old mother to food. So he's fed her, and he's eaten himself. He has an hour and 45-minute break before he goes back home to his mom at 9 o'clock to put her to bed. And then he can come back, and he's done that a few times. I guess I'll tell you two stories. One, the uncommonplace story, and then two, the commonplace, which is utterly uncommonplace. The day Peter told me his son, who died 13 years ago at age 22 of bone cancer. He's been my model through Peter of how to go through this and how to live with such joy and equanimity and be right there. Well, Peter wanted to know how he was going to mark his son's death your site the next day, and I offered to be a facilitator, do anything with him if he wanted. So Peter said, well, let me bring stories I've written. So he brought stories over to my house that he's written as part of a book that's called
The Tao of Sex, Music, Death, and the Kitchen Sink.
And these are short stories and philosophy and a way of living that really leads to music being the church of music, right? So basically, he came over with 6 short stories to tell. We played a game of pool. No, we read a story. I lay down, took the cat toys away so they'd be quiet. In the pool room, I lay under the pool table, put a towel under my head so I'd listen. He would tell his gorgeous, amazing, gorgeous, I hope you get a chance to hear his stories to me. We'd play a game of pool, story, go home for his mom, came back another round. But our usual routine, when we're playing pool, and we play pool, we love, it makes no difference who gets the shot in. Isn't that wonderful when you play like that? It's making love. It makes no difference who comes. You both came. It's all you shared. Same thing with playing pool, same thing with lovemaking, same thing with making music, same thing with feeding each other. Right?
I know that. story about the difference between heaven and hell.
No, what's the difference between heaven and hell?
So this, I don't know if I'll remember it exactly right. You can help me out. So this guy dies and goes down to heaven, goes down to hell, and everyone is starving because they have food, but their spoons are really, really long, so they keep messing their mouths, and then he says, oh, this is hell, how does it happen? And then he goes up to heaven, and he sees the same exact scene with people, but the people are opposite each other, feeding each other. Right?
You got it.
So
That's
the
it.
difference
That's the
between
same
heaven and
thing.
hell.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rob. And you have an affirmative there. It's an amen. It's an amen. So we will sit there. We will play pool, and Peter is. I have a boom box, and I have Spotify, and we play any music we want, and we put it on there and make beautiful music there. And I have my flute out. Peter has his guitar, but when we're shooting, he'll jam with the flute, and I'll shoot. I'll miss. I would pass off the flute, pass out the stick, because it's a good stick. He'll shoot, I'll play, he'll shoot, I'll play, he'll shoot. And sometimes it gets confusing because then Menashe starts crawling up Peter or mine's jeans in the back while we're shooting. And being on our back now, Peter has sank a shot with the cat, having screamed up, and we called the photograph of that scratch.
I did scratch.
He did scratch, but he got massacred. So that was Menashe. So Menashe also insists on, he's the pool cat. Ephraim will stay under the table. Menashe will be traded off between shots. So I'll pass the kitty to Peter. He'll purr, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He reaches out for the new parent, and he takes the new parent. He'll do it with Stephanie, with anybody else who's there, loving. But Peter and I are mostly there, so we pass off the kitty. Take the kitty, pass off the kitty. Take the flute, pass off the flute. And Peter's been really teaching me about flute in a deep way. And he only teaches people things when they're ready. He's a marvelous music teacher, any kind of teacher. He knows when you're ready to hear it. And he was ready to teach me the essence of playing flute. You've got to make a good sound. Oh, okay. So I've had the best of both worlds. I've had a flute teacher. I've had a pool partner who is as happy when I make a shot as he makes a shot. I'm as happy as he makes a shot. And we support each other and love each other and hug and touch and cuddle and have the kiddies and play music. And that's been, I'd say, 6 days a week. And there are many more chairs because I bought bar tables and I made it a real pool room up there. You know, it's an incredible. Hopefully the house will be open for the next month and a half or whatever while I'm there, while I'm gone. And the pool room will be open. And they'll pay an extra month's of rent to have that happen. So Stephanie can help take care of stuff. And meanwhile, be a party house, a Shabbos house, and a pool room, and a music place. So an evening like that, and one of the best songs that we played along with, and this is how I'll conclude this, is James Taylor's song, because it became when Peter did it the first time, I recorded him doing it, sent it to people, and it touched me. I couldn't stop bawling because it was what I wanted to do. It was shower the people you love with love. My mantra. And so you musicians, please, everybody join in, and I'll try a little bit of fluting. That's not important now. Key of F. And this, I hope this is, let me tell you a little bit, one more thing as these guys get themselves tuned up and ready. What we're going to be doing here. The segue of Shower the People is going to be in a section of, Sue is going to be holding, she's going to be holding the celebration in a different form. What I've tried to do here is set the tone of humor, the tone of joy by my stories, by the shtick. And now we're going to put it in different level, different container. And yeah, right? Many different levels. And so, yeah, formal musical offerings and spaces for people to speak if they would like. And then afterwards, what I noticed yesterday, I've been given a gift. This isn't a gift that I can guarantee, of being able to bless from my heart, bless through Hashem, and share blessings. So I want to give an opportunity. I don't know what I'm going to, whether it will come out with anything Hashemic or come up with, but I want to give it a chance to be able to bless you.